the other bill we mentioned up front, you talked about putting some regulation on landmen to register with the state of Maryland in order to do business, and I guess that those are the folks that come in and make the deals with the landowners to provide the easements that will allow Marcellus Shale access on their property.
That's correct. We put this bill in at the request of many people in Garrett County, and there are a lot of people who came to us and complained that they've signed leases that they didn't completely understand the full ramifications of the leases, and really we have. This is very similar to being a real estate agent. If you're a real estate agent, you're required to get a license. You have to take a test. You're subject to continuing education credits, and there's a standard of performance and a standard that you have to meet in order to maintain your license and to continue to be able to practice in that profession. There is absolutely no controls whatsoever over anyone negotiating a lease for gas and oil. Anyone can do it. And what has happened, I really think if people consider what they've heard or what they've read about letters to the editor and other people, their neighbors they may have talked to, when before it was really commonly known that there was a whole bunch of gas in the Marcellus Shale, landmen came in and started making leases. Now, there are a lot of people that have made leases that they just feel that they were taken and they weren't given proper information, and in fact were maybe even misled in what was being represented to them. And so what we're trying to do here is to require that initially we would put the bill in, it would require licensing, and because of some opposition from the industry and other factors, we're trying to work the bill not only so that we can get the bill through, but to address some of the concerns of the industry itself. And so we had a hearing on the bill. There was opposition from a lobbyist for the landsmen. Obviously, they don't want any regulation, and but we're trying to push this through so that in the future, when people come in and try to get gas and oil leases, that there is some reasonable expectation that they belong either to a professional organization or some standard or practice, and if they misrepresent or falsely represent things that were in the lease, and then at least there's some penalty provision in the law that there could be some recourse for the people that were negatively impacted by the leases.
Yeah, I was going to ask: is it strictly from now on, or would this address the leases that may have already been obtained and people disagree whether it was under false pretense or not?
This would be from now on. We can't go reach back and redo something. And we even wrote the Attorney General a letter from some of the complaints that we received from landowners that were upset with some of the things that are occurring. In the Attorney General, it's basically if you enter into an agreement with someone, and this is what a lease is. If you sign on the line and you enter into that agreement, then it's kind of like buyer beware, or you have some degree of it's your responsibility to make sure you don't sign something that's not going to hurt you, and if you do, currently you have to live with whatever it is that you sign.
The sweet sounds of caveat emptor.
Absolutely, and so really there are a lot of people that are upset that signed initially that maybe only got $5 or $6 an acre or $50 or $60 an acre when they found out that their neighbors were getting hundreds of dollars an acre. And so if they would have gotten a couple $100 an acre or more, whatever the neighbors that got the most, then they probably wouldn't be as concerned. But it still goes back that if Senator Edwards and I early on tried to inform people, don't give away your property, and it's really your property. And so unfortunately there was like somewhere between 100, I think, and 120,000 acres of leases in Garrett County that people have signed already that contain provisions that they don't like and contain, and they were paid amounts that they now are not happy with. And so I've heard some of the people, though, say that they've signed leases, say, well, at least I got my money. The ones that didn't lease them are waiting for more, still waiting, and may not get anything. So, it's but all we're trying to do here is try to make sure that the people that come in the future that try to obtain gas and oil leases are at least to the extent that we can make it not unscrupulous and are professional people representing gas and oil companies or the companies that they work for.
You mentioned Senator Edwards, and I'm going to shift gears on you here on the educational funding issue. He said that the Senate is ready to go forward with the limitation on state funding cut to education in Garrett County, and I guess anybody else that would fall under the provision, to 5.5% through the BRFA. What is the situation in the House right now?
Well, we're going in my committee today in appropriations. We're going to start work on the budget since the Senate has passed the budget bills in the BRFA in the Senate Bill 152. Got to give Senator Edwards a whole lot of credit, and the folks out there ought to really commend him for what he's done over there on this issue. In fiscal year 2013, which is the budget year that we're working on, the upcoming budget year that starts in July 1, Senator Edwards has gotten language into the BRFA that would limit the loss of educational funding in Garrett County and Allegheny County to not more than 5%. And so this language is in the BRFA, and this means that at this point in time, unless something would happen, and I'm going to do everything I can do to hold it here in the House side too, and if the House can change it, if the House would change it or delete it, then it would go to a conference committee. Unfortunately, I think both Senator Edwards and I will probably sit on that conference committee. So we have really tried hard to limit the negative impact of this year's budget on education in our counties, and so if we can push this through, 5% is still a lot, but it's not in Garrett County. It would be like I think it's either 10.8 or 11.8% if we didn't do this.
Yeah. So would you give it a chance? All along, I always thought it was kind of like a 50-50 chance. Is it now 60-40?
I would say it's probably even greater than that because it's in the BRFA. It's coming over from the Senate, and even if the House would take some action against it, and when it goes to conference, I think we'll be able to hold it.
And some pretty good news on the North-South corridor this week with the toll credits measure moving through the Senate up in Washington. That's got to be pretty good news for those who want to see economic development in Garrett County.
Yeah, well, you got to give a lot of credit to our Garrett County citizen out there, Dave Moe, who's worked so hard on this, and also Colleen Peterson down in Allegheny County. Dave is stuck with this for years and years and years, and he's on top of it. He keeps us informed of what's going on down here. So, and the only thing he gets in payment is thanks, and so thanks Dave and Colleen and those that worked on this issue to get it to work, keep it going where it is. Okay,
Delegate Wendell Beitzel, appreciate the time this morning. I know you got to run off to committee and you got a long day ahead of you. I wish you well.
Thank you, Paul. And I'm as soon as I get out here today, I'm going to head back to Garrett County. So I hope to have a good weekend out there without snow, maybe.
Okay. Hey, hope to see you while you're in town.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Uh-huh.
Bye.